launch the SAS Enterprise Guide by going to Windows and simply type SAS Enterprise Guide, and the software you want is Enterprise Guide 7. And make sure you have the I think it's the mpg.csv dataset. Download it from Blackboard. MPG.
That's on week 1.
That's in week 1, yeah. And for EG, you typically don't need to create a project because you're converting data sets on the fly. But feel free to do that, and you can save the process. So to convert a CSV data to SAS, first thing you do is to import data with a file import. And by the way, this is the same process that's demonstrated on the EG tutorial, and simply want to point out a few important steps that are typically missed and hard to debug. Make sure you select the MPG. Now once you select the data set, there's something. And once you pass the first step, this is simply to confirm, and you'll create a temporary data set in the memory, and later you will export. So everything looks good. And right off in the second step, there's one thing very important that you have to click. Otherwise, you risk having more problems later on. You have to redo it again. So every time, make sure you click this option, and it's not clicked by default by SAS. So what this does is, real-world data sets can be messy, and the variable names can contain all kinds of characters. There may be quotations in it. There may be question mark. There may be other weird things, other symbols, and SAS don't like all those weird symbols. Because SAS is one of the legacy systems. So by clicking this, EG will make sure any of those weird symbols be converted to something that SAS will take. So later on, you don't have any problem with using building models. Some of those problems won't surface until sometimes very late on into the project. So you don't want to redo everything by then. So make sure you do that, and all the other things are quite intuitive. I won't explain in detail. And by the way, the video that I referred to has all the other details. And okay, once you finish this step, you have a view of the data set. SAS is pretty quick with huge data sets, so you can rely on the efficiency here. Once you have the data imported and converted into SAS in the memory, you can export it. There are several ways to do that. One is you can do that right in the view. You don't have to exit. You can do export and export this to externally. And for the purpose this course, you typically only need to select the first option, and this is the second place where you need to be careful. The first place is where you have to tick that option. The second place is where when you're ready to export the data set to hard drive, always change the name to something very, very short, to something that's meaningful but very short. If you leave it there, I will guarantee you can't find it in SAS later on, and that becomes frustrating. So, a lot of times you're working with a data set that has a short name, MPG, charity, or what's the company name? Telco, something like that. So make sure you change that. And the format, the SAS format is that like that, a long string. And it's already there, and it's asking me if I want to replace it. I don't want to replace it, but you don't have that. You won't have that dialog. So go ahead and save it, and then you will have keep your SAS data sets in one folder where you can find all your SAS related projects there. So I will simply exit this, and that's it.